How do you compare to the average man? Let's cook.
This is a mathematically accurate rendering of the average American man. He's 5 feet, 9¼ inches tall, 200 pounds, and 26% body fat. He was created by graphic artist Nicolay Lamb to illustrate America's growing obesity crisis. But when I first saw him, another thought crossed my mind. How do I measure up next to this average guy?
5'9", 200 though. I mean, that's thick, right? 26% body fat. But I would think it'd be worse than that, bro. Like, that's not even that bad, bro. I thought the average man was way more fucked up than that, man. But like, going back to it, bro, going back to the numbers,
9¼ inches tall, 200 pounds, and 26% body fat.
like 226% body fat. Only thing that's not in your control is that height, bro. All this shit right here is under your control, bro. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, outside of what the fuck I thought, man, men need to look at this shit optimistically, bro. Your weight and your body fat percentage is totally incumbent upon you, man. So if that shit ain't where it needs to be, that's totally on you. But it's all it takes for you just to do a little work to get that shit down to be better than average, dog. Being average is a fucking choice. This should be motivating, dog. Especially considering the narrative, bro. How most men are losers, fat and out of shape, ain't no motivation, ambition, or whatever it is. All use this as motivation, bro, to be better than average, bro. You see that? That weight, that body fat percentage, bro. Just get that weight down, get that body fat percentage down. Like the way you look, and all of a sudden you better than fucking average, bro. And imagine what that's gonna do to your confidence, bro. Imagine what that'll do to your confidence, dog. And it's totally feasible for anybody. It's just y'all come up with excuses. Y'all let the world get in your fucking way. Y'all get distracted. Y'all are a slave to your impulses and sweets and salts and all the bullshit, bro. You gotta pull your mind up out of that, man. And all that shit will happen when you begin focusing on this, bro, because it'll force you to eat right. It'll force you to lift right. It'll force you to run right. It'll force you to rest right. It'll force you to recover right. And all of a sudden, you go from 5'9", 200 to 5'9", 175, 12% body fat. Now you out here beasting shit, bro.
He was created by graphic artist Nicolay Lamb to illustrate America's growing obesity crisis. But when I first saw him, another thought crossed my mind. How do I measure up next to this average guy?
You killing him, bro.
I think it's something we've all wondered at some point in time. How do I compare to the average man? Am I smarter, hotter, better in bed? Statistically speaking, you probably think you are. 65% of Americans think they're above average intelligence, 69% above average attractiveness, and 80% think they're above average in bed.
So that means everybody is delusional. It ain't just the women, it's everybody. Where do you get these numbers from, though? That's interesting.
9% above average attractiveness, and 80% think they're above average in bed.
And I bet it's way more for the women. Men are forced to live in reality, though, bro. You know what I'm saying? There ain't gonna be too many men out here thinking that they're better than what the fuck they are. It ain't gonna be a lot compared to the fucking women, bro. But men are reasonable. We're objective, bro. You know what I mean? It's the women that have lost their mind. Due to us, right? We blow their heads up, making them feel this fucking way, bro. But, you know what I mean? That is interesting.
Even though logically 80% can't be above average,
Facts.
we still think so. This is due to what's called the better than average effect, a bias that leads us to overrate ourselves in just about everything. Morality, intelligence, our ability to land a plane. But if nearly everyone thinks they're above average in everything, is there a way to really know where we stand? In this video, we're going to break down the stats, the science, and the surprising realities of where the average man really stands, and use those stats to put something together to definitively say if you're actually above average. So, to break down the stats of the average man, we're going to go over 3 categories: appearance, wealth, and relationships. Starting out with the physical attributes of the average man, he is, as mentioned earlier, 5 feet 9¼ inches tall, weighing 199.8 pounds, and is 26% body fat. But he's also 37 years old. Despite being the same height, the average 25-year-old American is 20 pounds lighter than the average 37-year-old, and is only 21% body fat, 5% lower than his older counterpart, showing the decline of the average man's body composition as he ages. Another thing that declines with age is the average man's hairline. At 20 years old, the average man has a Norwood 1 hairline, meaning only small amounts of recession at the temples. But by 37, the overall average, the average man has a Norwood 3 hairline, significant temple and corner recession. Although not really part of appearance, strength is something I'm sure you're curious about anyway. So here's how strong the average man is. The average man benches 135 pounds, squats 155 pounds, and deadlifts 175 pounds.
I'm just thinking about bros out here struggling and they're lacking the confidence that they so desire, bro. You got the goals, you got the benchmarks, man, which are totally attainable, bro. Just imagine what that'll do to your confidence and what that'll do to your fucking life, bro. That's easy. It's easy.
This may seem low to some of you, but when you account for the fact that only 23% of Americans go to the gym, it makes a lot of sense.
Damn.
The last part of appearance to discuss
Well, that makes sense
is
because everybody's a fucking fat ass, but damn, that's crazy. 23%? That's negligent, bro. That's crazy, bro. 20, but it makes sense though, because everybody fucking fat as hell, but 23%, that's nothing, dog.
the gym. It makes a lot of sense. The last part of appearance to discuss is the schlong. The average man is 5.36 inches long, according to a meta-analysis using lengths measured by researchers, notably a full inch shorter than the average self-reported length. Moving on to
I mean, but you know, this is a spade, dog, and you have no control over this, bro. You have no control over this, man. But what fucks men up more than anything with this situation is porn. The porn y'all are watching. Y'all comparison, y'all constantly comparing yourselves to the mandingos and the fake shit, bro. All that shit is cap, all that shit is fake, it's not real. Right? And if you poll the majority of women, it's cap. They like their insides. They don't want to be stretched out, bro. They just want the shit to feel good. They don't want to be in pain. You know what I mean? They want to actually enjoy it, bro. Them fucking corn stars out here do not enjoy getting rammed by pipes, right? Every now and again, you get a size queen that loves fucking forearms and shit, bro. So don't let this shit discourage you, man. Right? The majority of women have no problem with a 5.36 incher, bro. All right, don't let that shit sway you. As long as you ain't out here with a fucking 1 incher or 2 incher or a fucking micro penis, then you may have some fucking problems. You need to find someone that loves you for you, that's willing to fucking, you know, come up with some things for y'all to, you know, have some enjoyable sex, bro. You better, you know, work on that mouth. But yeah, you know, it's just a lot to do with porn and a lot to do with, you know, men's egos and wanting to like punish and kill bitches, which is totally contradictory to sex, because most women do not want their fucking uterus to fall out because they've been dicked down by a motherfucking pipe, bruh. It's not real life.
the wealth. The income of the average American man is $65,752 per year before taxes. This will obviously vary depending on age, though. These are the average annual incomes in America by age cohort. Young men, as expected, earn less than their older counterparts, with earning power peaking around 50 before gradually declining until retirement. In addition to income, we need to look at the average man's net worth. Despite the earning power of the American population being quite good, the net worth of Americans is not as high as you might expect. $270K with retirement right around the corner is a pretty tough spot to be in. And when we look at the cash savings of the average American man, around $5,300, we begin to see the average man is just getting by financially. The last category to discuss is relationships. They're the primary motivator behind almost everything the average man does. He gets in shape to attract women, works a job to support a family. They're why he does.
You fuck up, bro. You don't get in shape to attract women. You get in shape to be in shape. right? Because you care about yourself, you value your health, right? And then women come with it, dog. You don't do shit out here for women. And then I'd like to get into a conversation about the whole, working until you're 65 and retiring when you're 65, bro. Like, we need to get rid of this mentality too, man. That's the way the government wants it, bro. They want you to fucking work yourself to death and retire at 65. And most people that do that can't even retire at 65. But this whole idea that you're supposed to be able to, go off into the sunset and live off your retirement at 65 and go do the things you're supposed to be doing now when you're on your way out, when you should have been doing these things throughout your entire life, bro. You know what I'm saying? Instead of going balls to the walls career-wise, trying to put money in the bank, you need to focus on the time that you give to yourself and actually spend time enjoying life, taking trips, having new experiences, living fucking life, bro. Take your vacations, take your time off, and stop stressing trying to keep up with the Joneses or grind and get all this fucking money, man, because time is the most valuable thing you got. It's not fucking money, bro. But with that, you need to be extremely financially literate if you want to take on this mentality and go this route, bro. Tap into my Night Fit channel for all that, man, where we get into financial talk, and pull up to my online community, my self-development online community, man, where we talk about financial freedom and passive income and stocks and real estate and net worth, right? It's just the mentality.
They're the primary motivator behind almost everything the average man does. He gets in shape to attract women, works a job to support a family. They're why he does what he does. But how well is it working? How successful is the average man with women? Well, this is the timeline of the average American man. The average man has his first kiss at 15 years old. Around 17, he loses his virginity. He eventually gets married at 30, and he'll have 2 children in the following years. He'll experience intimacy with 7 partners by the end of his life, and around 54 times a year throughout his adult life. When single, he'll experience intimacy with 1 new partner a year, but he's in a relationship more than he's not.
That's interesting.
There's been a movement recently pushing the idea that dating...
That's interesting, bro. The average man get busy like that? That's a lot, bro. That totally contradicts the narrative about how lonely men are, man. But they are taking into consideration the entire pool of older men, too. But yeah, run that shit back one more time.
Line of the average American man. The average man has his first kiss at 15 years old. Around 17, he loses his virginity. He eventually gets married at 30, and he'll have 2 children in the following years. He'll experience intimacy with 7 partners by the end of his life, and around 54 times a year throughout his adult life. When single, he'll experience intimacy with...
What?
He'll experience intimacy with 7 partners by the end of his life, and around...
He'll experience intimacy with 7 partners by the end of his life.
Years. He'll experience intimacy with 7 partners by the end of his life, and around 54 times a year throughout his adult life.
Oh, 54 times a year. He's smashing 50. Okay, I got you. 7 different partners, but he's smashing 54 times a year. That ain't shit, bro. That ain't shit, boy. You gotta bust way more nuts than that.
When single, he'll experience intimacy with 1 new partner a year, but he's in a relationship more than he's not. There's been a movement recently pushing the idea that dating is over for the average man, but I'm not so sure about that. Looking at the statistical averages, the average man's dating life isn't actually that bad. Anyways.
They're taking in consideration the entire pool of adults of older adults who didn't have these issues that the younger generation is having. Most motherfuckers are lying about this, bro, but that lonely epidemic shit is real. I know for sure because I speak to motherfuckers that experience this shit. But I think that's what it is. If they just interviewed the younger fools, them stats would be entirely different.
Numbers. So, let's get to the fun part. Let's figure out if you are actually above average. Taking the stats of the average man, I put together a program that takes your stats and cross-references them with the average man to evaluate your personal sexual market value. The program takes your stats and adjusts them to be relative to your age, and then returns the exact percentile you rank among the population, with the average man mapped perfectly to the 50th percentile, definitively letting you know whether you're above or below average, and by how much. at least as far as SMV goes. I also built an option to get a detailed report that gives you specific insights into your percentile, like your exact looks, career, and physique scores, as well as a personalized improvement plan. I spent months putting this thing together, and it's by far the most accurate assessment of yourself you can get out there. It's absolutely free, the first link in the description. Check it out, leave a comment letting me know what you got, and I'll see you in the next one.
Should I do it? Should I do it? All right. All right. Age, facial attractiveness, model tier, the good-looking friend. Height, 72. Weight, 215. Body fat, say 12. Income, gonna have to blink this out for y'all. Y'all can't see this shit. Single status, say high. It says job title status. It says extreme status, celebrity, athlete, CEO. High status, firefighter, lawyer, doctor, pilot. I guess according to this, I'd be extreme status, bro. All right. Calculating. I am in the 92.9 percentile among men in my age group. Anyway, that's interesting though. But the main take from that is that should motivate men to get their shit together, bro. Cause you don't have a lot of competition. You don't, right? To separate yourself from the pack is easy. You gotta just do it. Just act. Just do something. Too much information out there. Free information out there available for you to improve yourself financially, physically, mentally, all that, bro. Right? You sitting sulking about how hard the world is, ain't gonna get shit done. Get up there and fucking do it. You can't do shit about your height. You can't do shit about your dick size, but you can do shit about your fucking money. You can do shit about the way you look. You can do shit about the way you feel. You can do shit about the way you think, right? And not succumb and be victim to this, lost man epidemic. All right? Peace.